Good morning and welcome to a Saturday morning. It's the beautiful game. My name is Mike Mesekeno. Thank you for tuning in. I wasn't around for what? 2 weeks now. Just some circumstances beyond our control. Like I said, but thank you for all who sent messages and asked why we're not on air. We're back now. And it's the beautiful game. I have one beautiful person and one handsome person in the house with me this morning. T-Girl is here, Toyosi at the Evangelist. It's great to have you.
Yeah.
You're looking lovely.
I
love
missed
this hair.
you.
You did. I know you did.
Yeah.
I know you did. You
Just a little.
One crate for you. You know how it is. But great to have you. Welcome.
Yeah, thank
You're welcome.
you.
And
How you
of course,
doing?
my main man, Sam. Saying Sam Adeyemi in the house. Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah.
Toyosi, I missed you as well. Our viewers,
thank you.
It's nice to be back here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is good that this is only Saturday because incidentally, myself and Toyosi had a call just after the match. Sam, we spoke about it, but it was just a short one. It was myself and Toyosi. I don't know if Toyosi can bring out that saying because it's been some days now.
Yeah.
Just talking about the Super Eagles and all of our. We'll talk about that. So let's not just start with that because I don't know. It's been what now? It's been 4-5 days now.
Yeah.
This
On
was
Tuesday. Yeah.
This was Tuesday.
So we are healing.
Yeah, we're healing.
So-
We're kind of disappointed. A lot. But we'll talk about that. Let's just kick off with the FA Cup, which is happening today, of course. 4 matches are going to happen today. Brighton will take on Nottingham Forest, Preston will take on Aston Villa, Bournemouth will take on Manchester City, and Fulham will take on Crystal Palace.
Two games
two
today,
games today,
two games tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Now, wonderful. Let's look at it this way now. Manchester City, this is about the only trophy left for them to win this season. Right? As it stands, in January, Pep Guardiola spent over 180 trying to put that team back in shape more than the rest of the league. He is basically at his wit's end. You know, I think for me it was the last match I really gave up that okay, Man City cannot because look, for me I still feel like Arsenal are not a threat to Liverpool. It's Manchester City.
Of course.
But now they are out and out of it, and this is about the only option. Do you think they can go all the way? Can they even go past Bournemouth today and go all the way to pick up the FA Cup?
Cup games are always different from normal league games. Now in the FA Cup, you know that if you get to the 90 minutes and no winner yet, straight to extra time. There's no straight to penalty. Sorry, there's no extra time and all of that. So, and for Manchester City, they've lost to Bournemouth already this season in Premier League. I think that was in November last year where they won 2-1. Bournemouth won 2-1 at the Vitality Stadium. So it would definitely ring in their minds that these guys are quite good this season in the league. Under Iraola, the direct football, while being able to keep possession too as well. They know how to. They can respect tougher opponents, but at the same time still take the game to them. That's one thing I've noticed about Bournemouth. But do they have the quality that City have to put this tie to bed? They do not, but that doesn't mean they cannot hurt Manchester City. For City, it's a case of this is all we've got. We can still remedy the season by winning at least a trophy. Bring home a silverware, which is the FA Cup, and the FA Cup, of course, the oldest English cup in the
oldest football competition.
Oldest football competition. So there's no shame in having the FA Cup. At least Manchester United, you know, Eric Ten Hag used that to renew his contract, you know, at Manchester United. So what are we talking about? So yeah, they can. They at least Plymouth knocked out Liverpool. Same Plymouth almost knocked out Manchester City. They came back, they won that game. This one is different from Plymouth. It's going to be a lot tougher, but I do not see them not trying their best to at least, come the end of the season, winning this one. Okay, Sam, you know what happens there? Maybe we'll just take a very, very short commercial break because we're going to, so that we can have time for you to give your say, right? We're talking FA Cup and all of that. We're talking about Bournemouth, Man City. For me, I'm just saying that, hey, Bournemouth, Man City, they won't go all the way. But we'll talk about that. Let's get just back after this very short time out.
All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now we're talking FA Cup. Sam, we're talking about Man City if they can go all the way, because this is about the only other trophy. But there are teams that are in this tournament. The first hurdle for me is even the hardest. They're up against Bournemouth. Pep Guardiola, should this just be seen as a transition season? Maybe if he doesn't win anything, can he be excused? Can he be excused?
Most definitely we have to excuse him if he doesn't win anything.
Says who?
And that's because of his... No, you look at his...
Oh, please, says who? He's not special, so why should he be excused?
10, 12 years, and this is probably going to be the last season.
If any manager that has done so well, the following season you fail, they will still sack you.
But that treatment of Vicente de Bosque, that treatment of Carlo Ancelotti in his first stadium, that treatment of Manuel Pellegrini, that treatment of Ben Chester, we cannot always attribute that to other teams.
True.
Aside Madrid.
Aside Madrid. He only works for Madrid.
Where do you see that happening? So that's why I said, okay, it's for Pep. If he doesn't get to win anything, then we have to give him the kudos where he has done with Manchester City.
That was last season.
In 6 years or so, about 13, 14 trophies. That's it. So you have to always respect that. But then, this is a game that he has no business not winning.
Goodness.
And like Toyosi did mention, they have nothing else going for them. This is the only trophy. But Bournemouth has never won the FA Cup. In fact, among the 4 teams remaining in this competition, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Fulham, and I think they have never won FA Cup. So this is something for them. This is probably the only trophy they can see coming to them in any time. And they've been very good. They've been very good in the league. You can talk about the attack line-up, how they've been holding themselves. And you can always bet against Manchester City conceding. So and that's something.
And in the other draw, there's Brighton. There's Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Brighton and Nottingham, but that's something there.
These are not easy teams. So even when they get past this level, it's not going to get easy.
There's still Aston Villa against Preston.
There's Aston Villa. So it's not going to get easy for them. But let's she's saying now, can we give Pep? Can we excuse Pep? Can we excuse him? Can we just say that? Because look, when this season started, let's look at it. When this season started, remember they brought back Gundogan.
Yeah.
There was Savino coming back. In fact, and then Liverpool lost, and we'll get to Liverpool. Liverpool lost their coach. Yeah. So it seemed as though there was
outside favourite. This one was a landslide.
It was a landslide. And there's that discussion which I also want us to tackle now. People are taking credit from Slot, which I don't like, saying that it's all about the players, that Slot didn't do anything. No, who gave Liverpool a chance? At the beginning of the season, where did you put it? Did you think Liverpool will enter top 2?
No, come on, why?
They lost their coach and no signing
They lost their coach, yes.
Federico Chiesa cannot
no
be called
signing was made, yes. But those signings were already made a season before. Jurgen Klopp made sure he brought in Szoboszlai, brought in Gravenberch. He didn't make any signing because if you look at that squad, aside from the fact that they were having rumors of signing Zubimendi and one other winger or so, it's hard to sit down with that Liverpool squad and see how you want to improve it with the market you have now. Okay. Honestly, you look at the best of the best midfielders.
But you expect them to win the title?
No,
or even to be top 2?
I expected them to be in top 3. Yes.
Exactly.
And the reason why...
We're thinking that the best Liverpool could do was 3 because of Arsenal.
Yeah, because of Arsenal.
Pushed Manchester City 2 seasons.
But I knew that anything could still happen. But of course, I was putting them there that they should push for the title.
So does that mean that Slot did something very good? Can we give credit to Slot?
He did well. He has done well.
Yes.
Thank you. We've seen other managers handle talents and not,
Thank you.
No, nothing comes out of it.
Benitez Inter Milan.
Exactly. And Jose Mourinho came out to give him that jibe that I won the treble with this team. So how come you're finding it difficult? So yes, you have to also give him kudos.
You say something about teams. This also happened with Sir Alex Ferguson. Aging teams.
Yeah.
Ferdinand was aging. He brought in Robert Van Persie, who was aging, to give him 20 and just this thing. It's not easy to...
No, for Ferguson I would always say this publicly, that as wonderful as it was, the legacy and everything he left behind, it was a very, very poor handing over. The poorest I've ever seen.
We agree.
He squeezed out everything left from that squad.
True.
There was nothing to rebuild.
Very true.
He didn't. That's your job. Because you are living does not mean you should not rebuild. It's your job to look forward to the future. Try and get in new prospects, gel them into the team. But he squeezed every resources he had.
Okay, but
cleverly, Jones, all those guys that were not even.
Let's not shut down. But let's focus. But my point now is that.
Remember him?
Oh, please stop it.
You start calling Kleberson now and Anderson before. Let's not start.
Or this guy that played for Eibar that knows how to Bebe.
But let's look at what did Slot do apart from making Gravenberch, making Liverpool hard to concede or making them hard to beat.
Break down.
Moving Gravenberch, nobody expected that this guy was going to play in 6.
In fact, I was expecting him to leave Liverpool because
it was about to be loaned out.
Really nothing. This guy left Ajax to Bayern, doesn't have many time in Bayern, Liverpool, and then he came to Liverpool and he was like, nah, he's not going to fit here. But then, if we are being objective, he's one of the best players this season in the league.
In the league.
And I feel his name should even be there when they're talking about the player of the season.
So what happened? How did Liverpool petter out? Some people are talking about the Ramadan fast. Salah started fasting. No, we cannot.
Look.
You see,
Salah,
we cannot.
Okay. He's not going to be the only player fasting.
I know. It coincided with him fasting. Understand that Salah is not as young as Salah is what 32, going on 33. In fact, this happened exactly as match just started, as the fast started. Salah just.
But I think we should be expecting that at a point Liverpool are going to.
We're going to.
Yeah.
But they're going to keep
that energy
that high intensity.
Yeah, because it was a reminiscence of last season.
But they've done the job well enough before that.
Before that time.
So that's
But then it was in the Champions League and then all that. And then let's move to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Still on Liverpool. There's been a lot. People are talking about, Trent Alexander-Arnold has betrayed the club. He has moved on to this club. Liverpool should not have allowed a special player like that. Do Liverpool really, are they going to miss anything with Trent Alexander-Arnold? And would Real Madrid, who have a Carvajal and a Vasquez in that position, would they gain anything?
No, I think Vasquez is...
let's go with Sam. Let's start with Liverpool parts, then we move to Madrid
It's
part.
a massive hole with Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving. And I know, yes, I'm the biggest critic for Alexander-Arnold when it comes to his defensive duties. But when it comes to being a footballer, I have to be honest, that young man is a good footballer.
Okay. Coming from a Madrid fan.
I'm not even a fan of Arnold. I don't even want Real Madrid to sign him because of the defensive problems. The Real Madrid fans went through the torture of having Marcelo. As beautiful as Marcelo is up front, the crosses and all that, it can be a liability at the back. So it's almost the same thing you're getting on the right back, at the right back position. Yes, you mentioned Carvajal for Real Madrid. They are getting a midfield, a defender who is versatile. Somebody who, don't worry, we're used to things like this where we have our fullbacks always flying forward. So we have to cover for them. The best way to defend is attack.
I think it is.
You see Liverpool fans crying and they're like, oh, he's a traitor, this and that. Don't worry, we have Bradley. That's a big lie. The boot Bradley is going to fit in is so huge.
But Trent this season hasn't played almost even
he hasn't done so well. He's been injured and he'll also be out of form.
For 6-7 years.
Yes.
The most goal contribution for any defender,
in
the league. Man, for a right back,
it's big,
that's crazy. But then you also look at, people keep talking about he can't defend. But then, do you really need your fullback to be fullback these days? Jeremy Frimpong is a toast of many because he can play all through that flank. Why is TAA in this conversation? Because he can do that. You don't need to have the regular right back. Kyle Walker is not the regular right back. That's why City paid 50 million for him.
Kyle Walker is regular.
I'm saying he's not the regular. No. It was more of his attacking.
He's a proper traditional right back.
For me, Kyle Walker is the last bridge.
I'm telling you, the last traditional right back.
I'm telling you, he's the last bridge
up and down.
Traditional right back.
Traditional right back, Kyle Walker is not. Kyle Walker does both sides well, but he's not a traditional right back. He does both sides well, but he's not a traditional right back.
When I think of Kyle Walker, I think of a Zambrota.
Help my jeez, no, now.
Let's not go. Okay, but let's go on with your thoughts.
What I'm saying is, as much as you can talk about it, but TA is also doing well. He has a lot of brilliance to his tackling.
Yeah, intelligence.
Yes, he's not going to run back. Yes, when somebody's already at his is gone. Okay. But then he knows how to position himself. That's why they've tried playing him as a midfielder sometimes as well. And that's because he does have that intelligence of playing. But for any team getting him, you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Is that attacking player? You're looking for a player who can always give you an advantage on your right-hand side.
But now the discussion for a number of fans is that Arne Slot came in, tried the system. This is a different coach. He might want to play a different way. And he might decide that I want a traditional fullback because look at the way he plays. If he's going, he changed his system to 4-2-3-1. He might not need somebody to bomb so much forward. If he has 2 6s that can move forward, he might need his back to be covered quite very well. And we know that Liverpool, 50% of the goals they've considered comes from that side. Or maybe more.
And if you also
if you can count, I can go back and
most goals they've also scored also come from that side as well.
Very true. But what I'm saying is that
if you notice with Slot statistics this season,
yes,
his fullbacks have had less influence. unlike before, under Jurgen Klopp, where they used to have either Tsimikas or Robertson. Or
exactly.
Always, but this season he's been limited.
Them. So
it's
maybe that's him. He doesn't want that kind of a player.
Yeah.
So, and for what he has done, shouldn't we give Slot the benefit of doubt? Welcome back. We were still in the heat to wrap up with the trend discussion. Yes, I think that's the major discussion. Now, the point is that he's leaving for free. If such a player was going to go, make some money off him. Yeah. Why did you allow him run his contract down? And you can't blame Slot. Slot is coming in, right? And these players have 1 year left on their contract. That's talking about Trent, Salah, and Virgil van Dijk. And then you're thinking about it. Do I know? Let me get into the team. I cannot start talking about, I mean, the director of football is supposed to be handling things like this, ensuring that they at least sign 1 extra year so that if they're going to go, even if it's 20, 30 million or something, that's something for a player of trend. So I can understand where the angst can come from that. Yes, you should have gotten something from him. Rather than just letting him go.
You know, Real Madrid came for him in December.
They
offered, was it not 20-something? And Liverpool were like, just take this offer off my table.
And he should have gone because he has not played so much. He has been injured.
Come on, taking 20 million for Arnold.
But he's going for free now.
Well,
about 20 million. It's going for free. To contribute to the team before he leaves.
Before I leave.
And especially with the fact that Conor Bradley also has not been fully fitted. So everybody is seen as the deputy. But then I still think he's a good guy. People can always talk about when TAA came in and Nathaniel Klein was faded out. Similar situation, but Klein was injured then. But Conor Bradley has not shown that he can be fit for 10, 15 games. So that's why I still think Liverpool needs to get a right back.
Also, an interview dated back, I'm not sure if it was last year or early this year or last season. I think a lot of people didn't pay too much attention to this, where Arnold was speaking. It was this Premier League interview, had to also pick some things. And he mentioned he wanted to win Ballon d'Or. Yes, he said, in fact, I think the interviewer had the same reaction with the way the same reaction you had right now, talking about, Arnold winning the Ballon d'Or. And he said, and she was like, oh, she even actually thought it would pick the, because it was supposed to be his top 6 picks or something like that. And she was like, she thought his last pick would be the be captain for Liverpool one day, and he never picked that.
I never picked that.
And he said that he has always been his dream to win the Ballon d'Or, and he would love to be the first right back to do so. So you could see that winning the Ballon d'Or. What are your chances of winning the Ballon d'Or at Liverpool?
It's going to be hard.
Compared to
if they had a season, yes, very true. If they had a very good season, which we expected them to have, until PSG came into the mix, which, by the way, I told you once I saw that mix, I knew that was going to be a problem. But we'll get to Champions League football on other episodes. Now let's touch a little bit on CONMEBOL. The CONMEBOL qualifiers. Yeah. It was a big one. Argentina decimated Brazil and. Dorival has been sacked due to that now, and that match was interesting for a number of reasons. Rafinha, I don't know why he felt the need to egg on the Argentine players before the match, saying that he said some things I can't really remember all of them, but
he said I'm not going to use the F word. I'm going to mess them up both on the pitch and off the pitch. For me, it was disrespectful. Yeah. And the reason why I say I can't say some things, it was disrespectful. But let's just leave it at that, as football bans and all of that. And then on the day, they have 2 of basically the best wingers in the world at the moment, Vinicius Junior and Rafinha. And Rafinha was missing.
They have a decent team. I mean, you're talking about probably one of the best goalkeepers, top 3 in the world. Behind,
Alisson was injured.
Okay, was injured, but they have Bruno Guimaraes. They have some,
Guimaraes didn't play.
Okay. Yeah. Well, now the point is this. Up against Argentina, Argentina without Lionel Messi, Argentina without Lautaro Martinez, and Argentina without Paulo Dybala. Just a culture. You have your Alvarez.
Still.
You have your McAllister.
Still. Argentina are a very strong side. And another thing.
They're world champions.
They are so strong that Scaloni can bring in an unknown player into the first team or to the national team, and that player will still perform. That's how effective, so far so good, not just the first team, also in terms of how they've been churning out talents lately.
Okay.
If you notice before, they've had mainstay of starting lineups.
Okay.
But they've never had those who would come on to replace the ones that are leaving. But somehow in the last 2 to 3 years, the way we've been churning out talents from Simeone to Julian Alvarez was in the national team, even when he was playing for River Plate already. You have Thiago Almada that plays for Atlanta United.
Yeah.
It's not even Europe. Yeah. It's that good.
But what's the international team?
Yes, so they are that good. It's a walking machine.
It's a walking machine.
It's something we used to see with the German national team. That's what was seen with the Argentine now.
Maybe even the Spanish national team.
There's a system.
Yes, there's a system, and
you just get
not just the system alone. Is probably their era now. They are the one enjoying it right now. You look at that midfield, they have DePaul, they have Enzo Fernandez, they have McAllister, they also have Molina, Palacios, Paredes, there are a lot of them.
Okay, Sam, so with Brazil sacking their manager and all of that, do you think Ronaldinho, a number of past players have come up to state how disappointed they are? Are we looking at the era of maybe the worst Brazilian pool of players since we started watching football?
So yes, but
is this the worst pool Brazil have ever had?
I would say worse.
If you're trying to
has there been any pool
if you're trying to make comparison with other eras, that's what we're trying to do. But then, in comparison to the other national teams right now, I'm talking about looking at the other top teams. I think they are at par.
They are at par, yes.
But then, yes. And I still don't understand. We've had 3 or 4 coaches in the last 2 years.
Because they've not been enough.
Everybody and they keep throwing you out. I don't think sacking Dorival Jr. was the solution, but I think maybe the FA. Maybe there's something with the administration, the same thing I can say of Nigeria. I think that's where it is, because Jolinton is having a great season.
Brazil has never...
Douglas Luiz, even though he hasn't played much game, Matheus Cunha is having good season. Yeah. But then all these guys, like you said, Rafinha is a Ballon d'Or favorite. Vinicius, not the best season, but then he's having a very decent one.
He's the FIFA world best at the moment.
At the moment. So all these guys coming together, and yet you still can't put...
Okay.
Maybe if... I just think it's the environment.
Yes,
the environment, they need to understand what Argentina have right now, that everybody sees themselves like a family and they tend to defend each other. You look at that game, 4-1 against Brazil. That's their worst defeat in any World Cup qualifier. And that's without Lautaro.
It could have been 7.
Without Messi, like you mentioned.
We're talking about 7. I remember Germany, Brazil, 7-1.
It could have been 7.
And that is why I would insist that since I started watching football, since I started following the beautiful game, and I'm looking at maybe 93, 94, this is the worst pool of Brazilian players ever.
You know,
since 94, because I started following. In fact, the first Brazilian player I'd ever come in contact with and loved me was Romario Farias, and then he was called. I remember seeing one. It was a newspaper cutout then, and I saw ubiquitous, and I said, what does this word mean? And it was Romario Farias that they were trying to talk about that time. At 1994, that was when Dalima was still on the bench. Yeah. You know, he was still a young kid just coming up into the game. But look at that setup. That setup that had a Bebeto, that setup that had a Donga, that setup that had those players moving to the 98. 98 that had, by that time, Ronaldo had gotten into, El Fenomeno had gotten into his own. There was the Rivaldo. You understand? He was just coming off winning the Ballon d'Or in 99. You understand? And then you get into the Ronaldinho era. To the 2002, to the Kaká era, to the Adriano era. This is the worst. And I'm telling you, that time, think about it, go back. Yeah, look at Brazilian teams. You do remember 2006 Confederations Cup?
I think
Robinho, Adriano, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, was it Kaká?
Yes.
That Confederations Cup,
I think that was, Robinho was
5 of them. I still remember, I don't know who they played that match. 5 of them were coming. Yeah. You could see defenders' legs shaking. Like,
I think it's the level of quality. If you look at the Brazilian league now, the league is not doing too well. In fact, they're having more of old players coming back into the league to come and play. There are more foreign players. I know that, yes, Brazil is home to a lot of foreigners, no doubt. I think they are second largest when it comes to the blacks, the black nationality and all of that, and then for even the Chinese nationality too as well. But yes, if you look at the league, the quality they are churning out, it's not so much or so great as we used to have before.
But that's also one of the things that people are saying about them, especially with their young talent, that they are leaving too early.
Too early, and then they die out.
Very too early.
And
Very
they die out.
You know, football, I was telling someone that the peak age, or should I say, that point where players reach that peak, it's dropping. Nowadays, look at the Yamals. I don't know what Yamal will be like when he's 25.
I'm telling you, because the number of games they have under their
I don't know.
belts.
I'm telling you, I don't think that
they're
peak,
already burnt out.
You know, normally the peak players peak is 25, 26, 27. But now we're seeing 17-year-olds making national team squads.
So he's 17, and I think he already has like
How many
caps? No, I mean, in total, the number of games he has played. At 17. Pedri.
17? Would you play?
Remember the season Pedri played how many games?
Played Olympics,
Euros, 3 games.
Yeah, played and even the World Cup.
And even the World Cup. Well, this one doesn't affect Nigeria now because we'll just take a very short break. When we come back, even calculator now, you need a calculator that has good battery, strong battery. You need AI to calculate if Nigeria will be at 2026 World Cup. Because as it stands now, me and this 2026 World Cup, well, we'll take all of our thoughts when we get back. All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Sam is here with me. Of course, Torres is there to give her takes on all that is happening. But CAF AFCON qualifiers, before this round of matches, we were in 5th place. We were 4 points behind the top of the team. 6 matches have now been played in the CAF AFCON or the CAF qualifying region for the World Cup 2026. And Nigeria, after beating Rwanda, which was it was the first time we're doing that away, and so we had high expectations. Came back home, okay, no, that Zimbabwe is almost like a loss, but no, they didn't lose to Zimbabwe. Drawing with Zimbabwe, and look at the table now. What are the chances? Now let's take a look at this. What are the chances of Nigeria qualifying? Now we are going to bring out our calculators, but we'll let you know how hard it is for Nigeria to qualify. Of course, Thoreau is there with me. Thoreau, just very shortly, let's have your thoughts. What were your thoughts after that match had ended on, on the Super Eagles and all that went down?
I think it was a disappointing one. We had 2 qualifiers. We were expected to win both of them. There was no room for any draw, any drama. We just needed to win. And unfortunately, they didn't do that. The last 5 minutes to manage the game and get all 3 points again, they didn't do that. Trust Ekong, of course, everybody, blaming Trust Ekong for that lack of concentration and awareness to be able to defend that equalizer. But at the same time, I think it's a general problem for the Super Eagles. You can single out players, yes. We can mention Simon Moses. We can mention Chukwueze that didn't give his all. We can mention Ndidi and Co. And this would go back to when we were here sitting down talking about the 39-man shortlist or 39-man list that was picked by Eric Shells. And at the end of the day, he reverted back to 23, and the 23 were still the same routine name of players that we've always had. No change, nothing. Don't forget there's a certain Adelani Ishola for Ikorodu City. I would expect that young man to have been called up. Papa Mustafa for Niger Tornadoes as well. Good midfielder. We have Onyedika. The likes. These guys were on the bench. They're energetic. They can, they have lungs to play the long game and all of that. But you didn't use them. You just the same routine all over again. No change.
Right. Let's leave the game now. Let's come to the table as it is now. South Africa now are 13 points. Now we know about the whole talk about deduction. We are still waiting to hear from FIFA. There's no official word yet from FIFA. But for the fact that there's no official word yet, does it not seem like nothing might happen? Can something still happen? If so far, they've not even mentioned that, okay, we received a complaint or something like that. Okay, so FIFA has not stated anything.
What we've heard about that is the fact that there is a possibility that the petition was submitted late. Because according to rule, it has to be within 24 hours.
Wow.
So maybe Nigeria was not, that's the out there, but maybe there's an exception to this. And there's also the fact that the rule that we are referring to is for a 6 games qualifier. In this time that it is 10 games qualifier,
where the rules
with the 2 yellow cards also be the same, apply in this instance. So that's it. Like you said, nothing of they could be all of that. But then let's even leave that. Even let's take the 3 points away.
So now look at this.
Nigeria is 4th.
South Africa are taking this position now, yeah? We look at South Africa now, who are going to be taking this position. And then, as it stands now, if they are in... South Africa now have 13 points. Let's just say, even if they take off these 13 points away,
so remaining 10,
and they put it at 10, let's just say they give South Africa 10 points, right? Nigeria is still 3 points off, but that's not the major issue.
You know who's going to get that 3 points? It's Lesotho.
And
that puts Lesotho to the second on the table.
Oh, wow. So that gives Lesotho 9. That gives Lesotho 9. And if that happens, Lesotho moves up to second.
To the second. So I don't know when Nigeria keeps looking. That means it drops Nigeria back to 5th position. So what are we looking at to get here? Because then you have got Rwanda, you've got Benin. We are all playing 4 games. No one is playing less number of games. So we all have 4 games to play. Whether it's the fact that we're playing some games at home, we're playing at home. Even if we decide to win all those games, how do we make sure the other 3 teams or the other 4 teams ahead of us also lose all their games? So on that route, Nigeria topping the group is almost impossible. Even if Nigeria comes second, then you have to now look at the playoff.
That is where there's a problem.
That's another option that Nigerians people are looking at.
That's
so the fact that Nigeria can still get a playoff spot, but then if you get second and you're a playoff spot, then your number of points will matter. We've got about, is it 6 or 8 groups? 8 groups. Okay. And then there are teams that are way better than us.
We'll get to that. Toyosi, we're going to go home, we're going to go up against South Africa, we're going to go up against Benin, teams that are not easy for us to beat, and all of that. What do you think will happen when we go to Joburg, whatever, to take on South Africa? Are you sure Nigeria? Can Nigeria do anything? Can we get 3 points? Is that a possibility? The
last time we faced South Africa, it went down to penalties to settle the tie or decide the tie, right? So what's the guarantee that we'll go to SA now and win at home when we can't even win at the Goswey Akpabio Stadium? So it's going to be a very, very difficult one. The South African national team, the Bafana Bafana, are a very, very solid side. You look at them, they have 7 Mamelodi Sundown players. 4 of them are in the starting lineup. That's to tell you something. That
during AFCON, there was a particular match they used as much as almost 9.
Yeah.
During AFCON.
So they are deeply rooted in their league players that know how to play in this stadium and know how to play at home. So it's going to be a very difficult one. They know how to score goals. They know how to defend. They know how to manage games. That's something we lack totally. And there's proper management from Bruce. Or Bruce, rather. So it's something. It's not something that is impossible. Of course, we can always go there and win. It's not as if we've not won there before. But at the same time, it's going to be very difficult, judging from the form that South Africa are in right now.
People are talking about Victor Osimhen. Remember that situation that happened with Victor Osimhen and Boniface and all of that. Victor Osimhen, of course, came out to clarify. For me, even with Victor Boniface, that was not an issue. You should not have even gone up at that point. In football, exactly. He was angry at that particular point and all of that. Now, the point is that 2 World Cup straight, Victor Osimhen might not even play a World Cup until maybe he's 30, 31. You know, and then we're wondering that when all of this are happening, he'll be 32 at the next one. Do you even think that we can even make that one?
So the next one is, I think that's the Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. I think that's the next World Cup. But then, how do we even do this? Let's leave the 2026 World Cup. I just think Nigerians should just let their mind be at rest. If you want to go to that World Cup, you need to find another route to that place. But definitely not this America's.
We should start thinking of 2030.
No, let's just go on. If you want to go watch, then you go. But forget about this, because Nigeria is not going anywhere with this. And I believe by now everybody should have understood that. Yes, there's 12 points left. If we have that 12 points, that's with us. The 7 we have right now, so we are on 19.
But Sam, look at this. Look at this. You mentioned something about, now, there are 9 groups. So, now this is what many people don't know. Now, this is a table of the second place teams in all the groups. Nigeria is not yet on this. Because we're not second. Yeah. Now, look at it. Nigeria, how many points do we have now? We have 7 points. The best team for second place has 15 already. The next has 12.
I think that's the group of Morocco. Morocco talking with 18 or so.
Now, for Nigeria to qualify, would have to be amongst the top 4 best second place teams. Yeah. So that means that we need 5 points.
Mike.
At least. Let's people know how impossible this might be. See, look at in fact, Sam, this gets very interesting.
The second place team here has more points than the top place team in our group.
Bam.
So you know how hard it is.
Look at it here. It cuts off here. Sam, at that 4th place, this point. At here, this is where. Yeah. At this particular point, these are the only 4 teams. Now, this is what happens. When these 4 teams are done, they'll play amongst themselves. Some seeding. So that is 2 matches already. Then, the winner will now go to another playoff against CONMEBOL.
Yes.
Oceania. And CONCACAF.
And AFC. So we are having 2 representatives from CONMEBOL. Yes. From CONCACAF being the host continent. Then 1 from CONMEBOL, 1 from OFC, and 1 from AFC. Then with 1 from Africa. 6 teams.
6 teams. So that means that you're looking at
for 2 spots.
Probably 5 games. 4-5 games. Now, depends on the seeding. 4-5 games extra. But that playoff spot is harder than even qualifying through the normal
two. Very, very much harder. Very much harder.
In that playoff spot, even if we come in that second, that playoff spot is hard.
So you need just one representative from Africa to go there. So like all of this that you say, just one person to go over there and then face these other teams. Then there is going to be three teams in 2 groups. So the winner between those 2 groups are the one that gets to qualify as the playoff team. Can we even make it in our air?
Can we even make it to this place?
Can we even get the second spot, man? We've got Benin, Rwanda, Lesotho.
These guys will get more points.
Us, yes.
These guys have 4 more matches.
Also, they're still going to get
so they'll get more points.
So that's why I said Nigerians should just find an alternative way to get to the World Cup.
Forget 2026.
No.
That's my own. Toyosi, your final predictions. Let's wrap up with this. 2026, are we going or not? What are your own? Just your final. Are we going or not?
I would love for us to go, really, but it's a very dicey situation. We put ourselves in a very, very, very tight position where even when you play the playoffs, there's no guarantee that you would knock out every other person. It's difficult. It's a very difficult route. If you're not table toppers going straight into the tournament from topping your group, the other route is very, very dangerous and very difficult.
Well, yes. All right, Sam, final words.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to be able to make it out of Africa because I don't even think we're going to finish second in our group. So then not to not talk of going. So I'm just, like I said earlier, for any Nigerian that is looking at going to the Americas to go and watch the World Cup, they should find alternative route, not because of Super Eagles.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much, Toyosi. It's been a wonderful show on the beautiful game today. And yeah, we leave you out a little bit of a sad note, but hopefully we can start planning.
That's what it is.
For 2030. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.